Hi, this is John Wren, and we're, I don't know, just a little bit late getting going. I'd like to be on sooner than this, but it's almost 10 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock each weekday morning we have this, an Idea Cafe chat, we call it. If you go to Twitter, you can tweet with hashtag Idea Cafe Chat. Comes right up, or johnwren.com. You'll be able to join us there. And if you're hearing this, you're already there, so you don't need to know that. But if you pass it along to someone else and they just watch the video, if they want to watch live, it's on each weekday morning, Monday through Fridays. This Friday's Good Friday, and we won't be here, but 10 a.m. for just 15 minutes. You deserve a break today, so let's take a coffee break together. And we'll talk about startup, starting a new career. You need to go in a new direction with your work life, starting a new project or campaign. The campaign could be for your business, or it could be a political campaign that you're starting.
It's 10 o'clock.
Well, it's 10 o'clock now, and we're just going to whole intro. And usually I edit it out, and we do a little bit of work on the end. I'm going to put up something that you might want to go to next on the end of this. But today I want to talk to you about something new we're trying. It's a new meetup.com group, and it's called the Flash Franklin Circle. I tried it yesterday, and it went pretty good, except there are people there. And what we're going to do is try to find theatrical performances, concerts, things like that, where they're really trying to fill the seats. And we may have free tickets available. So if you'll go there, you'll be in line for the free tickets if they come up. And then from time to time, we'll just maybe eat together. We were at Whole Foods yesterday, and we'll move that around. And we're also going to have a luncheon, a standing luncheon at 1 o'clock every Thursday. So you can put that on your calendar, find out where it's at. Call 720-495-4949, and we'll tell you where the lunch is going to be tomorrow. And or you can listen to the recorded message. We'll put it on there also. So what we're trying to do is get a community going, a real community, not just a networking activity. Now, there is a networking group coming into town, and we may cooperate with them. And watch for a release on that. We're just beginning to talk with them, but it's going to happen pretty quickly. So we hope to make a release on it tomorrow to the media. And it might be one more thing that we're doing to try to help the person that's a startup or that want to be startup get real help in cooperation with local chambers, service clubs, that type of thing. And these Flash Franklin Circles will gather. We'll sort of follow a Franklin Circle format. If we've gotten free tickets, we'll gather afterwards to discuss it. And part of our deal with the free tickets is that we will get together to discuss it right afterwards and come up with sort of a co-op review. We may video it, and it should be a lot of fun. We'll only have a limited number of tickets, so you want to sign up. That's a meetup.com group. You can go to meetup.com and just circle on Small Business Chamber or Flash Franklin Circle, and it'll come up for you, and you'll see more about what we're doing that we'd like you to be part of. But you got to join, because it's just those that are members that will get the invitation. So you got to join the Small Business Chamber of Commerce, which is free. You just sign up on meetup.com, and we'd like you to link to some sort of social media just to let them know you're a member, and that's how we get the word out to other people. What we're about. We do several activities. We have a Small Business Chamber of Commerce method for startup, 4 practices: practice of bounce or recover, get back on your feet. Most of the time, something good comes out of something bad. Something bad happens as a setback. Somebody gets fired. They start a business that makes them a lot of money. It never would have happened without that. But we have to get back on our feet. So that's a separate practice. And we have a group that's free and open to everybody. We hold meetings from time to time. Root and branch, and we use meditation and 12 steps and have a list of all the various 12-step groups, so you can go to the one that most meets your needs. And we're kind of taking this idea from Well, it's a long story, but when you come to one, we'll tell you the full thing. So the other group we have is Idea Cafe Startup Workshop. Now, it's been a workshop. We've made it a weekend. It's a 90-minute weekend every Friday, except this Friday, which is Good Friday. And we're at WeWorks, Wewata, and that's just a couple of blocks from Union Station. So you can fly into Denver, walk to Union Station, come to the 90-minute workshop, and then go home and start your business, or go home and start offering a similar activity through your local chamber, and we'll cooperate and help you with that. So that's the Idea Cafe Startup Weekend. And more information about that on our meetup site, on our website, smallbizchamber.org, or call me, 720-495-4949. Networking is something you have to approach with great care. And one of the reasons we do the Idea Cafe the way that we do, we say, if we're successful, you'll be too busy to come back next week. And that's when we've been doing it as a workshop. It'll continue as we do weekend. And what we do with the weekend is we're putting a little more emphasis on helping you think through, what am I going to do this weekend? And maybe we can connect you with a person or two here in Denver who could help you with whatever your particular need is. If you want to go in the retail business, we may have a retailer that would be willing to spend some time with you. May be more than once. I mean, you may come and then come back the next weekend and then get started. It may take you to 3 or 4 times, but it's not a permanent place on your calendar. But if you want to get started, we're hoping that you can come in, work over the weekend, and hit the ground running on Monday morning. And our intent is to make every weekend a startup weekend for whoever needs it. Now, the startup for you might be to get a job in the direction of your dreams. Very often, that's the very best thing to do. It preserves your working capital, and you learn things working for someone else that are expensive lessons if you're doing them on your own. So if you want to open a coffee shop, probably a good idea to get a job working in a coffee shop. Now, you can do what a retired military guy I knew pretty well did. He just parked in front of a convenience store. He wanted to open a convenience store, so he just parked in front and watched what went on for 2 or 3 days, who their vendors were and that type of thing. So you can just watch. But the other thing you can do is just get the job in the convenience store and earn a little bit of money. And sometimes you learn things it's hard to observe. Yogi Berra said, you can watching, and that's true, but you learn even more if you're actually doing the job. So it might be that in your particular case, it might make most sense to get a job in the direction of your dream, but everybody's different. So that's what we do at this Idea Cafe Startup Weekend, and that's on our meetup.com site also. You'll see the upcoming meetings, and make an RSVP. We'll save a seat. It's limited seating because somebody's come in from out of town, and we want to make sure that they get adequate attention. Also, let us know if you'd be willing to be one of the resource people, so that when people do come in from out of town, they could visit your place of business if that's an interest they have in taking back to wherever it is they've come from. Or if you're a professional that works with startups, we'd love to talk to you. If you're a CPA, an public accountant, if you're a lawyer, a consultant that works with startups, we want to have you help us with these startup weekends, whether it's here in Denver or wherever you're at, in cooperation with your local chamber. And we do this Friday afternoon group as sort of a model so that people can come and see it and then go back and start it for their local chamber. The reason we're doing this is because businesses just don't start the way the SBA says that they're supposed to start. In 1953, SBA was formed, and what a mistake. It's just about killed small business in America. And Wall Street Journal had a big write-up this week, and for the very first time, this is a historic thing. It should have been on the front page of local newspapers, but I think they've just looked the other way on it. For the first time, large businesses have more employees than small businesses in this country. That is a huge shift. And we've always said that the small businesses are the new jobs generator, and it's true, and that's why there are fewer new jobs. Now, we are getting a flush of new jobs right now. There's some things happening kind of prime the pump. But generally, small business is not. And what's happened is we've killed startup through this venture capital. Now this is very recently changing. And back in the early 90s, when I first started doing this, people thought I was out of my mind to say, no, you don't write a business plan. But now Steve Blank and people like that are saying it. Although if you listen to them, they say, well, don't write a business plan, but here's how you write a business plan. We're going to do a business model, we're going to call it. And we're going to think and plan. And that's just not how small businesses start. What do you need to start a business? You need a customer. And that's what we talk about at the Idea Cafe Startup Weekend every Friday at 2 p.m., except for this Friday. Go to our website, go to our meetup site, and make a reservation. Now, the other practice, that's the idea. We have it's a root and branch. We have the imagination is one of the practices, and that's the Idea Cafe Startup Weekend. And think. And one free group that I think is helpful for that is Socrates Cafe. It's across the country, and it depends on how it's led. Now, some Socrates Cafes become, a podium for people that are very well read in philosophy, and they don't talk about what they think. They talk about what all the philosophers have thought, what current philosophy is addressing. And that misses the point of a Socrates Cafe, in my opinion. Socrates Cafe, we navigate by our own lights, is how Chris Phillips put it in his book called Socrates Cafe. That inspired the groups that started here in Denver. We did the first one, I think it was the first one in the Colorado, in this part of the country, on the Friday after 9/11, and we almost canceled it. No, now we really need to meet. The first topic was, how do we fight terrorism in our own head? And we don't cite what philosophers think. We share our own thinking. Now, that's influenced by reading that we've done, but it's about critical thinking skill. And to just cite authors, that happened in a meeting last night, and it was just terrible, and I said so. And, we've got an outline. The model meeting is Saturday evening. If you come in from out of town, you can go to the Idea Cafe. Saturday evening at 6:30, we have Socrates Cafe, the University of Denver, and the Anderson Academic Commons. It's free and open to everybody, as all these meetings are. We choose a topic at the meeting itself, so there's nothing to read in advance. And then whoever's brought up the topic shares about it. We take turns sharing about it, and then we take turns asking each other questions, sort of take turns being Socrates. And the more you've read, the better, but there's no assigned reading. And, it's encouraged to come repeatedly, and it can become a real source of support. And sometimes if you're starting something new, but you're not sure what you want to start, the Socrates Cafe can be more helpful to you than anything else, because it kind of helps you take a step back and look at your life in a little bit different way. And then the fourth practice is learn. And what learn means is action. We don't really learn. Ben Franklin said, if you teach me, I'll remember. If you involve me, I'll learn. And it's a difference between remembering and then actually developing a skill. And it's when we take action, we've done the recovery, the bounce back up on our feet, we imagine, we think. And part of the thinking is that we suggest that people bounce whatever it is they're thinking of doing. And, it's not random action. It's not a written, you may have a couple of notes jotted down, what you're trying to do, what the first few steps are going to be. The book we recommend is Just Start, Harvard Business Review Press. Terrific book. It's what we've been talking about, things I've been doing to try to help start up, which 5280 magazine says I've infused Denver with an entrepreneurial spirit. Now we're trying to take that same thing to other places, and that's why we formed the Small Business Chamber. But I've done these startup workshops for over 20 years. And 52 magazine says it's infused Denver with an entrepreneurial spirit. And I hope so. And I hope we can do that for other parts of the country, we'd like to cooperate with you in taking it to your part of the country. Well, that's our break for today. Yeah, it's sort of just a sales pitch for today. But I talked to you about the new Flash Franklin Circle that we're trying out. Be sure to watch for that. When you sign up for the small business meetup site, you'll get reminders on all these meetings. And you can turn it off at any time. If you get busy and you're not going to be able to do any meetings, just turn it off for a while. You don't have to drop out, but you can turn your mailings off and then come back to us if you I had a guy come a couple of years ago to a meeting, and this happens from time to time, but this is the one that comes to mind. We were meeting at the cafe there in the Colburn. George runs it, and the guy came and he said, I was here 8 years ago, and I've sold that business, and I need to do it again. And he did. And last spring, it's something that you sort of have to be part of to appreciate, but it's based on the fact that at least my belief, I don't know if it's a fact, I believe it's a fact, I have faith in it, that, starting a business is more like, there's a sense of inspiration. It's more the kind of thing that a poet might do. And, the psychological profile of most successful entrepreneurs is more like the Peace Corps volunteer than anything else. Capitalism gets slammed, but it's been the vehicle for developing more prosperity than the world has ever known. And now it's under attack. And, we don't lobby or endorse candidates, but we sure do try to help people understand that we don't want to kill the goose that's been laying the golden eggs. America Magazine, James Martin is a terrific person. And he's really been very helpful to me with his book, The Jesuit Guide to Almost Everything. We've led book studies around that. I may do another one in July. But his article in America Magazine, this current issue, and it's online now, is just off base. And he is not the only one that's mistaken in their view of what is at the base of our problems today. But I make comments on his article. Look it up, read the article, and set me straight if I'm wrong. We may talk about this at the Socrates Cafes this Friday. I'm going to bring it up as a topic, but the group's got to accept it. And then Saturday evening, I'll bring it up again if we don't get it done Friday. We will meet with Socrates Cafe Friday evening. The 3 o'clock service will be over, and some of us find that a prayerful exercise, attending Socrates Cafe, and the prayerful exercise is really trying to listen to what the other person has to say. Well, I was late getting started, but disorganized. Thanks for being here. The break's over. Let's get back to work. And we're here each weekday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. That's noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And if I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to call. This is John Wren, reminding us, me and you, this life's very short. Let's go get started. Thanks for watching.